Hi guys. Okay, today's sales training is going to be very simple, very easy. I'd love to make it a big detail metaphorical thing, but I'm not. I'm going to give a tool. And the big one would be, don't get so caught up in the cool new stuff, you forget the basics. And I am dealing with this can apply to any business out there and any sales you do or whatever, but specifically to You Build It, specifically to the salespeople of You Build It. If you want to be top tier, you want to be true success, you're going to have to make an average of over 200 calls a day. I don't mean, oh, if I could make, or oh, if we, do 500. I mean, you make an average. You want to be top 5% of sales in the United States. You've got to make over 200 calls a day. That's what it takes. And that's calling old database, deep database. That's digging up, if you're new enough, that's digging up lists. I mean, that's just getting neighborhoods. That's even cold calling. But I mean, you got to make 200 dials a day. If you want to go modern world and say, hey, I emailed some, so I did 150 calls and 50 emails and I view an email, I will grant you that only if the email is personalized. And I don't mean writing a bulk one and putting a name in there that auto-populates. I mean, you personalized it to that specific client. Otherwise, 200 plus calls a day. If you want to be average, which honestly, average is pretty freaking successful in our business. If you want to be average, 100. If you're not going to make 100 calls a day, in my opinion, and for those of you I just am about to offend, I apologize. If you in any way directly or indirectly work for me, I don't apologize. If you don't want to at least be average, God bless you. I'm sure you're wonderful. Go find another job. This is not your calling. It's not your place. I don't even understand a desire to be average, but dang sure you should desire to be above average. So now that I've been a jerk and thrown that out there, I want to go over a very old school tool. When I was first being taught how to make calls, how to do the grind. And I'm talking about the grind, what it takes to do over 200 calls a day. The pop, the making notes, being ready to dial even as you're hitting enter on that so that they're constantly back by. You're never down. You're never down. That receiver, you just tap the hang up button. You never set the phone down because you got to grind and go. In order to do that, I was taught one of the hardest things was how to set your goal and how to track it. Here's what's crazy. Of all the great software programs, of all the great computer programs, of all the excellent stuff out there, there's only one thing that I have ever found that works, and it is a good old-fashioned pitch counter. You can buy them at your sporting goods store, maybe even a Walmart. I know Target does not have them because that's where I went first. An old school pitch counter. It looks like this. It has a little bitty clip. You can swing it on your finger, which is handy. And it has this. 1, 2, 3. And you just keep it in your hand. And you start the day by winding it to 0. And after call number 1, click. Call number 2, click. Call number 3, click. I will tell you this, you should live it by religion. Until you have clicked at least 100, you don't go home. If it is midnight, you keep calling until you have clicked 100. If you're the slowest caller in the history of the world and it takes you 5 minutes to do each, you're going to work a lot of hours, but you still click. You want to be a super stud, set it at 200. You want to be something extra special, 250. You want to be something I've never seen done before, 300. I know it supposedly can be done. I hired a young lady recently that tells me she made 300 calls a day. That's amazing to me. I've never done it. I was never good enough to hit 3. Doesn't mean it can't be done, and it's extremely cool, and I can't imagine what you could do. I'll tell you this, in the day that she made 300 calls, she scheduled 7 presentations. Go figure. Growth happened exponentially. You will get more presentations between call 100 and 200 than you will between call 0 and 100. But my main thing to you is go spend $2.99 and get a clicker and click and track yourself. And if you get distracted, you take your clicker and you set it down and you deal with your distraction. Whether it was for fun, whether it was important, whether you just need to go potty, whether it's time for a cup of coffee. And when you come back, you dial. And when you complete that call, by the way, I always believed you click when the call was completed. I have personal opinion. I found if I clicked as I was getting ready to make it, I lied to myself. That is the greatest danger. The easiest way to lie to yourself is to click at the start of a call. And if you think I'm wrong, it's start and dial. Oh, hey, Tim, what were you? Okay, start and dial. Oh, starting to dial. Oh, yeah, hey, no, sure, yeah, let's talk. What'd you need? And all of a sudden, I got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 clicks for start to dials that never got dialed because of an interruption either out there or from back in here. So I always believe you click when the call is completed. And by the way, when is a call completed? When the next call has been scheduled in your calendar for the alarm. I don't care what database you're using, but most specifically QuickBase. When you have entered your note, I don't care if your note's left message, which by the way you should be typing while you're leaving the message. Speed, speed, speed. Think about this. This has to go fast. When you leave to enter that, the very next thing you do is you close here and you schedule what day it's going to come up on your calendar to be called again. When that is scheduled, bing, done, call completed, now click. By the way, a lot of y'all will have noticed I have a real bad habit of liking to twirl keys and things. I get made fun of it now and then. It doesn't bug me. If any of you ever wonder why, it came from the first job I did this, because it drove me nuts. This wasn't long enough to shake, and I always had to have this in my hand to hold myself accountable. I had rubber bands at that job, and I got to where I would tie rubber bands together to give a loop, and I would spin this thing on rubber bands. And I would just do it, but it was kind of fun because when the call completed, it would be and it would wrap and catch, pop, perfect, click. And then I'd just kind of twirl it around. The call was done, click. It was fun. It became a habit. It is a habit that has stuck with me to the point I actually now have tendon damage from swinging stupid keys and things all the time. That was a personal note you don't care about. This has gone way too long. I tried to make it personal because I want you to understand this matters. It wasn't to ramble and it wasn't to tell you my life stories. It matters. Go invest, get a pitch counter, track yourself. If anybody wants, maybe this will help, and this I'm going to end because I want to wrap this up quick today. Any of you ever think, hey, I'm healthy and I'm active, and then you got one of these modern things, the Fitbit or the Do You strap on your waist or app on your phone or whatever that tells you how many steps you actually took in a day? What happened the very first day you pulled that out and you plugged in and you were sure you were special? You got ashamed and you deleted the data is what happened. Why? Because you don't do what you think you do. You know what's going to happen the very first day you get your clicker? Your very first day, you're going to be ashamed of how many calls you actually make because it's going to hold you accountable. And you're not going to believe it's possible to make as many as it takes to succeed. But it is, and you will, and you get there. And you'll turn it into a game, and a game is what makes it fun. A game is what makes it worthwhile. A game is what makes it cool, and you get there. And it is absolutely fabulous. So, I cannot stress enough the importance of calls. I cannot stress enough the importance of quantity of calls, and I cannot stress enough the importance of tracking yourself and holding yourself accountable. I've never found anything better. If you have something you like better, go for it. I did know a guy that did the old-fashioned hashtags, like you were in jail, Count of Monte Cristo stuff, 1, 2, 3, 4 / and that's how he tracked his. I'd call that second best to the clicker. And I guess it's just because the clicker worked best for me. Either way, old school is a lot better because you can't cheat old school as easily as you can cheat technology. And I'm talking about letting your subconscious cheat yourself. I could get lost on that for hours. I will not. Guys, thank you so very much. I appreciate you listening, and I hope you get a clicker, and I would be very fascinated to hear if it worked for you. And I would be fascinated to hear if you think it's the dumbest idea and it didn't work for you as well. It probably hurt my feelings, but I'll get over it. So thank you very much. Have a great day.